This is Alan Galloway here in Ridgeland, South Carolina. Nice to have you tune in to, to our service today. I want to talk to you, first of all, about voting. Please, ma'am, and please, sir, go to the polls and vote. You know who to vote for. Democratic candidate, Kamala Harris and Tim. They are the Democratic candidates for president and vice president of the United States of America. If you're looking at CNN and all the news channels, Fox News, ABC, NBC, CBS, they're all running information on the voter time to vote for the President of the United States. And all the local offices, we encourage you to vote for them also. But please, ma'am, and please, sir, go to the polls and vote. You cannot wait until the last day to discover that you do not have your voter registration card. You need to look at it now in time so that you'll be able to go to the polls and vote in due time. The pastors certainly have an obligation to make sure that every member of your church of voting age is registered and to vote, every one of them. Oftentimes we are too busy to follow up on getting our members registered to vote. And I know we hear in the news all the time that black folks like to say, well, you know, we can't mix voting and politics in the church. Well, number one, the reason you are the pastor of the church is because someone voted you in. That's politics. You know full well the treasurer offers the politics, the deacons office of politics, so there's politics in the church. Now, the other thing that we talk about, when you talk about the politics, we're talking about not endorsing anyone, but you can certainly encourage people to register and to vote and have voter registration drive at your church. Time is critical. It's only maybe 8 or 9 weeks before the election, and we must elect those Republican Democratic candidates who are running on that slate, local and national. It's critical, it's important. All persons must register and vote. There's certain denominations that will tell you that I don't participate in voting. Voting doesn't matter to me. But voting got you that Social Security check. The Republicans are saying we should cut the Social Security check. That should shake you up. Social Security they want to take Social Security away. They want Medicaid away, the Obamacare away. They were trying to do all of that. That is politics. Now you can certainly sit on the sideline and say I'm gonna sit on the couch. I'm not gonna vote for anyone. But that is one crazy thing to say and to do. Also, those who are looking for reparation. They said, well, we want reparation, but we're not going to support the Democrat. We're not going to support the Republican. Please, pray tell, how are you planning to get reparation if you don't support the candidate, the person who's going to be in office? They're the ones that will lead your charge for reparation. If you don't support any of them, then nothing from nothing, leave nothing. You put nothing in, you should not expect anything out. Oftentimes we're saying that, well, we want to get reparation. They do us reparation and all of that, and that's great to sound. And if I were a merchant, if I'm on a dealership, I said, please give those people reparation. Please give all those black folks reparation. Yeah, please, please. I own a Cadillac dealership. I own a Lincoln dealership. I own a Honda dealership. I own a Mercedes-Benz dealership. They'll park right outside the gate and bring them all in. I'll fix them all up in a brand new car. Give it to them. Give it to them immediately. We applaud you. Give them the money. Because they don't own any dealership. They have to buy the cars from us. Come to stores, come to buy a clothing store. So we get it right back. So why don't we give it to them and just sit on the sideline and wait till they come back? And a couple of beautiful young ladies, send them out there and send as many cars as they come in. With all of that reparation money. I was at a service the other day. Someone said that a lot of people do not know how to handle money. So money it's an instrument that you use to benefit yourself and your family. They said that's why most of the people who win large sums of lottery money is gone in a short order because they do not know how to handle the money. I know you say, well, I know how to handle the money. I go I go to the store, buy my car, go grocery, but there's more to that than handling the money. They said that if you put a person from the ghetto in Beverly Hills, after a while, Beverly Hills will become a ghetto. If you took persons from Beverly Hills and put them in a ghetto, after a while, the ghetto will become Beverly Hills. In other words, you need to know how to handle money in order to be able to deal with reparation. And you have to support the party who's going to give you the reparation. I know you've earned it, your forefathers and all of that. But if you intend to get that money, you have to be campaigning for those who you think are going to provide the money for you. You support those who support you. If you don't support them, they have no obligation to support you, even though you want money from the reparation. The other thing I want to talk about was the upcoming tax sale. It's going to be in October in Beaufort, South Carolina, in November in Ridgeland, Jasper County, again later on in November in Hampton County. The tax sale is used to take property from poor people, people who fall on hard times, people who can't pay the bills for whatever reason. And here's how it's done. First of all, Hilton Head Island, the great resort area in South Carolina, 90%, 95% of Hilton Head was owned by black people. 95%. Now black people own 10%. What do you think happened? How do you think they got the land away from them? Well, here's how. Well, also there's Bluffton. Bluffton was 90% black. Now ownership. Now they own 15%. And the current rate is happening over in Jasper County, in Hardyville, all along the Highway 278, owned by somebody else. Black folks are losing land by the thousands of acres every year. And here's how it works, and here's how they've been doing it for many, many years. There's a section, statute, state of South Carolina, and I'll read it to you. Statute is 12-51-40. 12-51-40. If you look it up, it will tell you that you're only supposed to sell enough property to pay the property taxes. They were selling the whole thing for over 70 years. And they are aware of the rules and regulations why they're selling the property. If you, for instance, if you have 10 acres of property, you owe $100, they're supposed to divide the property. If 1 acre will pay for the taxes, they're supposed to sell only 1 acre, and not the 9 acres like they've been doing. So now, if you own 10 acres, they will sell the entire 10 acres for the tax sale, which is against the law. I've been complaining about that for quite some time. But recently, they've made an amendment to it. They said, okay, we agree that we're supposed to divide the property. But here is what the new amendment to just that statute I read. You will have to ask to have the property divided. You have to ask the master in equity in Jasper County. It's in Beaufort that was supposed to divide the property is the treasurer, the assessor, and the auditor. Those three make up the master in equity. And those three are supposed to ascertain how much of this property need to be sold in order to satisfy the tax sale. You have to ask them. That is the rule. You must ask them before the sale goes to sale. You can't wait till the day of the sale and say, oh, you have to divide the property. Too late. Statute says now that you have to ask in advance before it goes to sale. So you don't wait until sale date. Ask weeks, months before. Ask now that I'm giving you the information. You need to do it right now. If you're not going to have the money, ask the treasurer, the assessor, and the auditor. Those are the ones you have to ask to divide the property and only sell a portion of the property and leave the rest of it. Just enough to satisfy the taxes. That's what the statute called for. It's been on the books for over 70 years. But everyone have ignored it, and that's how they took the land from Hilton Head. That's how they took the entire resort from Hilton Head, because they did not pay attention, did not know that they knew, but you didn't know. So there should be a class action lawsuit to get paid for the property. We know you're not going to get the property back. If they're hotels, the homeowners, you can get a lawsuit and require them to get a judgment and require them to pay. The Native Americans in York County, South Carolina, took them over 100 years, but they got settlement after. And Native Americans up in Chicago, they finally got their property after 170 years. So you can get money for and be compensated for the property that was taken from you illegally. It's illegal because the statute says they're not supposed to do it this way. But they did it that way. The attorneys know it. Everyone who read the statute know it. But if they benefited from it, I'm not going to say anything. They benefited, their friends benefited. But if you call any attorney in the Low Country and ask them to look up the statute, anyone from New York or any place else can look at this statute, 12-5140, and you will see, they just made the amendment, you will see that they're supposed to divide the property, only sell just enough to pay property taxes and nothing else. The auditor, the assessor, and the treasurer have the responsibility of making that determination, along with you, of course. Now, assuming that you did not get the information in time and you didn't do it, here's the other piece of information that I recommend that you do. When you go to the tax sale, get a bidder's card. Get a bidder's card 3 or 4 days or 5 days ahead of time. Do not wait until the day of the sale, because that day is too late to get a bidder's card. Once you have a bidder's card, you go into the sale, and when the sale come up, someone bids 20,000, you bid 30,000. Someone bid 40,000, you bid 50. I bid 100,000, knowing full well that you do not have the money. You knew it when you went in there. You had the bidder's card. You knew you were not going to let them outbid you. You let them outbid you. At the end of the day, the sale is usually over by 1 o'clock in the day. They give you until 5 o'clock that day to pay the money, or the bid is forfeited. So that means that your bid and is the highest bid. The sale is over. They can't have another bid. Sale is over. Now, what they charge you to do what I just told you to do, they charge you $300 because you bid and you did not pay the money. That's what you would lose, 300. He said, well, why would I do that? Why would I do that? He said, okay, let's say someone bidded $50,000 on your property, and you decided that, well, I'll pay the taxes in 2 weeks. Well, in 2 weeks, 50,000, you will pay $1,500 in penalty at that point, because you pay 3%. Every 3 months, every 4 months, you pay 3%. So $1,500 the first month, the first 3 months, and then on the fourth month, you pay $3,000. But if you do it the way I've suggested, don't let them outbid you. You bid, knowing you don't have the money, and at the end of the day, do not go to pay the taxes because you don't have the money. Pay it the following day, or the next week, or the next month, because you'll go to the forfeited land commission at that point. Forfeited land commission consists of the treasurer, the auditor, and the assessor. You go to tell them that, listen, I have the money now. They're obligated to take your money and go ahead. You pay the taxes at that point, plus the penalty, the $300, or whatever the penalty that's assessed. And now you have your property back. Do not let them outbid you on your own property. You would say, well, how do you know that work? Well, I didn't pay the property tax on my building deliberately. And I got a bidder's card. Everyone knew who I was when I went down there. And they said 50,000. I said 100,000. They said an owner cannot bid on the property. I said, statute doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. So they said, well, you can't do it. I said, well, I did it. So they had someone to take me to the room, in a little room, and said, well, we're going to get you straight. You have to pay. You have to pay that bid. You can't. I said, call the treasurer, state of South Carolina, and inquire if I was right or wrong. They called. They said Mr. Galloway was correct. He bid it on his own property. There's no statute that says that he cannot do it. But to avoid complication, because you may not want to go through what I went through. I wanted to try it for myself before I come out and tell you exactly what happened. So since that is the case, you get your friend to bid, knowing full well you don't have the money. Knowing your friend doesn't have the money, and they also give you another penalty. They won't let you bid for 6 months or 9 months anymore because you outsmarted them on that one. But if the statute remains on the books, do it again the next time. That's all. But you cannot let them take your heritage, what your ancestors have left. The ancestors may not have known how to handle the situation, and most of you may not be aware. That's why they took Hilton from you. That's why they took all the land from you, and they took the beaches. They got the beaches for free. You say, well, how did they get the beaches for free? And black folks had all the property in front of the beaches. Singleton Beach, Bradley Beach, all the other beaches. Black folks controlled the beaches. So they wanted to buy the property. They wanted to get the beaches. So black folks said, we're not going to sell the property. So they went to one family member and said, look, I'll give you $100,000 for your little piece here. That's in front of the beach. She said, okay. Other family members said, well, this heirs property, and you cannot sell heirs property, which is not true. You can't sell heirs property. Here's how it's done. If you own heirs property and someone comes to offer you some money, you can sell your interest in heirs property. After you sell your interest in heirs property, that person become an heir in your stead. Then that person will call the family together and say, look, I'm an heir to this property, run it in the newspaper, and say, I have an offer of $200,000 for my share. They said, you're crazy. They said, you only have 1 acre. He said, I have 1 acre, but I want $100,000 for my 1 acre. And naturally, you're going to say no, and maybe you don't have the money to pay him. And now you're upset. Well, you have, in the past 45 days, to match that offer. They take the money down to the master in equity, the treasurer, the assessor, and the auditor. And they call them together and say, look, you have 45 days to match this offer, or we need to put this money in escrow and deed the property to the person you thought that could not buy the property because you thought heirs property could not be sold. However, in the beach part, they bought the property in front of the beaches, and they gave them a good price. But they thought black folks thought they'd continue to have access to the beach. Well, they do. But now they have to go around almost 2 miles away and come all the way around where the beach was in order for them to have access to the beach. They didn't prohibit them from going to the beach. They just make it very difficult for them to go to the beach, and pretty soon they quit coming to the beach. They build hotels on that land. Now the hotel owners have a beachfront. That's how the tricks are played. It's done over and over and over again. And we sit on the sidelines and say, well, how did that happen? And I hear people all the time saying, you cannot buy heirs property. You cannot sell heirs property. Yes, you can sell heirs property, without a doubt. I want to share that with you. And I'm not an attorney. Consult your attorney. All the information I've gathered is a personal aspect. I'm not an attorney. Consult your attorney to get all the information and see if I'm correct. And you'll find out that you can save yourself a lot of money and a lot of problems. Now they're rezoning the property in Jasper County on Highway 462. I looked out, there was a sign right in front of my property. They want to change the zoning on my property from commercial to residential. Now, why in the world would they want to do that? First of all, as a commercial, I'm grandfathered in. But if the building is ever destroyed, then I cannot build it back. If I'm out of the building for over 36 months and building for hurricane or something, then they could say, you no longer can have this business, and now it's back to residential. That's why they want to do it. Well, I'm going to fight like hell. I have an attorney, and I won't stop. I'm not going to let that happen. To my property. I'm single out. Yes, on my little piece, it's down there in Jasper County. They should know better, but they don't. They don't know me, so they will get to know me before this whole thing is over. Some property on Highway 462 near 785 Low Country Drive. At 24 acres. What they want to do is rezone the property. If they get that property rezoned, it's be one house every 10 acres. That's right. You heard me right. One house every 10 acres. If you do not have 10 acres on that side of the road, you cannot build a house. Isn't that something? That's the rezoning request that's happening right now in Jasper County. If you have property down here, Jasper County, we ask you to please check what is going on in Jasper County. And it's not for your benefit. It's for the benefit of big developers who have a lot of money. And they want to build 4,000 houses up on Highway 462. Some years ago, they built a firehouse in the wilderness, right off of Highway 462. No fire trucks, nothing. So other folks were saying, well, why would they build a firehouse out there? They said, we finally got a firehouse. We're gonna have some fire equipment down there. So if we have a house fire, they come in and save us. Well, I said, well, that's not what the fire department. That's not what it's for. That firehouse is not built for you. It's built so they can get a lower interest rate, so insurance rates on the house that they're going to build. And now they're building it now, which is 3 years later. They're getting ready. They got the fire engine now that they're going to put out there. They didn't put it out there before because it wasn't built for you. It was built for those houses that were going to come that you didn't know about and you didn't see. You have to pay attention. What they did on Hilton Head, they're going to do the same thing in Jasper County if you do not wake up. I guarantee you, they don't plan to stop. Big money is involved, and they will take it, and they have no problem with you. While you're standing outside looking, you said, but my daddy used to own that property. My uncle used to own that property, but somebody else owns it now. They got the boat sitting in the yard. The children are playing in the yard, and you're sitting on the outside of the fence saying they got our property. And you're living way up in the hills where nobody can find you. Don't let that happen, please, ma'am, and please, sir. I watch it. I see what's going on. I'm alerting you to what's going on. Please call your friends, your family, and let them know what's happening in Jasper County, Beaufort County, and Hampton County. Sale in Hampton, Beaufort County take place in October. They always sell every piece of property, all the time. Big people come in and bring all kinds of money. In Ridgeland, Jasper County, and also in Hampton County. Now, I attended the last tax sale. I saw two beautiful black ladies. They had computers bidding on property. And I have a copy of the newspaper, and I'm looking to see what the properties are selling for. I said, good Lord, young ladies get all this money. Young women, attractive. Where are they getting all this money from? Each one of them bidding. This one get one piece, this one get another piece. They're going back and forth. I said, well, let me see what's happening with them. Ultimately, they got a lot of property. They bid a lot. They had a lot of money to bid. When they left in a Rolls Royce, where did they get the money from? Where did their money come from? Developers. In order to stop them from doing it, here's what I recommend that you do. Read the statute, 12-5140. Look for the amendment that they just added. Said that they're only supposed to sell just enough property to pay the property tax. That's how you stop them. And that's the treasurer, the auditor, and the assessor are the person responsible for dividing the property, and you only sell enough. If you got 100 acres, they will sell 100 acres for $1,000 worth of taxes. And they run the bid up. Well, go to the assessor, the treasurer, the auditor, and say, listen, I have 100 acres, 1 acre will pay the taxes. And they can only sell 1 acre, or 2 acres, or 3 acres, not the whole 100 acres. I thought I'd share it with you. I'm not an attorney, but I do know what's going on. I read a lot, and I've been through what's happening here in the Low Country. If you desire to speak with me, my number is 843-812-4430. It's Alan Galloway. Number again is 843-812-4430. If you need an attorney, I can certainly recommend one to you. No, I get nothing from recommending. I just don't want to see them get you. Because they keep getting you and keep getting you and keep giving you, then I'm the only one's left. Then they get me. If I stop them at your house, then they can't get to my house. That's nature. We have to learn to help one another and quit laughing when someone does not pay their taxes. And for someone, the tax sale is advertised in the newspaper 2 times. 2 times in the newspaper. Put signs up, and they take pictures of the sign that they put up at your property as proof that they put the sign up. You will say that, well, I didn't know my property was going to be sold. I gave my grandson the money to pay, and I swear I didn't know. Well, all you had to do was call on the phone and call the treasurer and check for yourself. Check to see if your grandson paid the money. And if your grandson is irresponsible, or whoever gave the money is irresponsible, and you don't follow up, then it's your fault. Most people discover 3 or 4 days before, they didn't see the sign. No one told them about the newspapers. Everyone in the church knew that their property was up for sale. Everyone in the community knew the property was up for sale. But they wouldn't mention it to you because they know that you want. If they mention it to you, said, Mrs. Jones, you owe $500 for taxes. You said, sugar, I ain't the money. Can you lend it to me? That's why they don't tell you. And you want to borrow it from them. If you had all year to pay the taxes, all year long, 365 days, couple McDonald's, 4 or 5 McDonald's in a month or two, pay your taxes. Couple Jordan sneakers, pay your taxes. The fancy name clothes that you have, you pay your taxes if you didn't buy them. We know better. Why don't we do better? And then we want everyone to come to our rescue just before it goes for sale. Then when the church do not come to your rescue, then you will say, well, see, that's why I don't go to church, because they don't help nobody. But you had all year to learn about paying those taxes. You know it. Everyone knows it. It's going to be in the paper. Last year was in the paper. This year is going to be in the paper. And next year is going to be paper also. Same taxes. And if you don't pay your taxes, I guarantee you someone's going to buy it. We complain about other people coming into the community, those foreigners coming into the community, or they're buying up all the property. Someone's selling it to them. Then they're not taking it. Someone's selling it to them. Anyway, my name is Alan Galloway. If you desire to give me a call, you may at 843-812-4430. I will help you find an attorney or someone that will help you to get your situation straight or go on record for whatever you want to do. I hate to see them take all of your property, all of the ancestors' property, all the property they took from Hilton Head, all the property they took from Bluffton, and we all sit back and say, I don't know what happened. What happened? Yes, you do. You didn't pay the enduring tax. That's what happened to you. If you don't pay the enduring tax this year, they're going to do the same thing they did last year, the year before, and the year before. They're going to do the same thing. And you're going to say, I didn't know. My cousin in New York is supposed to pay the tax. My cousin in Florida is supposed to pay the tax. And you said, I didn't know. Call them, get on the phone. Call the treasurer's office. Ask, has my taxes been paid on my property? Ask them, has my taxes been paid on the property? And if you can't pay the tax, get with the pastor immediately. Let them know that I'm having problems. I need your help. This is Alan Galloway. Signing off until another day. God bless you. God keep you. It's our prayer. Good day.